Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Friday, May 31st through Sunday, June 2nd, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi, and our energy mantra for these days is I aim my brain at wellness. And we're going to do an extended scope for these next few days. I've been mentioning we're building to this Jupiter-Pluto energy, which I have been feeling, and I've definitely been hearing from several of you that you've been feeling it, and I have many things to talk about with that. We also have another thing building that, good or bad? I don't know. It's not good or bad. I don't actually look at the Astro as good or bad ever, but challenging or like beneficial, always beneficial, but challenging for sure. And that's a weird one. It's a very strange one. We have the Sun and Venus building into a conjunction. Now this isn't going to happen until Tuesday, but when I was looking at the astro energies, I'm like, oh, this is coming in too. And anytime we have anything close to the sun lights it up. And Venus and Gemini can be a little fickle. And I'm feeling like Venus and Gemini is not loving the surrounding Astro right now. And so it feels a little yin challenged. It feels a little pleasure challenged. So we're going to look at that too. Let's start with Friday and go from there. So for Friday, we have the moon finishing up in Pisces throughout the day. We'll have the moon move into Aries 8:28 p.m. Pacific time. That's going to be really interesting because that's going to add a little bit more aggro to the Jupiter-Pluto trine that we are building to. So watch, late Friday night into Saturday, into Sunday, those emotional reaction points, because we'll be feeling them. Throughout most of the day on Friday, it's Pisces energy. It's strong Pisces energy. We have Pisces conjunct Saturn. We have Pisces conjunct Neptune. Moon in Pisces for both of those. And then meanwhile, the moon is also connecting to Uranus and to Mercury. So we have a little lazy cat in there as well. Now, I don't know about you, because this is definitely a me thing. I feel like all this Gemini energy is increasing my antennas. So I always feel like the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, have various extrasensory abilities. Like Gemini is like antennas, and Aquarius is kind of like a satellite dish, and Libra is something else. We're not going to go there because we're not there right now. So we have the Gemini antennas going, and we have the Aquarius satellite dish going. And when we add in the Pisces, it almost feels a little extrasensory. It feels a little bit more psychic in these energies. The problem is there's so much yakety yak going on. Joe was singing that song earlier. Yakety yak, don't talk back. What did you say?
It's still in my head.
It's still in his head. Yakety yak. There's so much yakety yakking going on.
The version of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Twins.
Oh, yakety yak Arnold Schwarzenegger style is in his head. That's funny. But there's so much extrasensory going on that it's hard to tune into all the messages. I feel like mine are like bunny ears, and they're like, wah, wah, wah. But this Pisces is definitely tuning up psychic messages. My feeling is today, while we have those lazy cat moments, lean in, tune in, ask Spirit if there is a message for you. Now, what I love is today we have the sun moving to 11 degrees. That's that master level degree. Top of the cards we have is the master card today. And my feeling is like, what can you train your brain? What can you train your mind on to support your wellness. Now, I specifically use wellness, although I always mention that 11 degrees is that healing degree. And the reason I'm saying this is because that in my life has multiple times been like a key turn moment for me, where I've gone from being like, I'm healing, and like climbing up the mountain to focusing on wellness and finding a little bit more even keel wellness than the healing track. So training your brain to wellness and what you need as part of your wellness, recognizing that our thoughts and our speaking and all of that is part of our wellness ability. Now, that being said, I always love what Abraham says, is there's some days you're falling out of the airplane. There's some days it's like there's nothing that you can do. You're just going there. And I think that that's part of this Jupiter-Pluto connection that we have. Pluto's like, you can't keep sweeping those dust bunny thoughts under the bed. You've got to face the dust bunnies. So aim your brain towards wellness, and bring yourself back around when you can. I think good venting sessions are always helpful and healing, whether it's in a journal, to a friend, voice recorder, to God, spirit, universe, whatever, wherever. Release the vent. You gotta release the volcano a little bit, and then bring yourself back around. I think that the moon in Aries will give us a new lease on life. Like Pisces definitely took us into like some of the emotional energies, but Aries may be ready to vent the energies in a different way. That moon in Aries will be meeting up with Jupiter and Pluto late Friday evening. So it may increase, a little firepower behind some of those energies. So let's keep looking to Saturday, June 1st, rabbit. May I be the first to wish you rabbit. We have the moon in Aries doing the most. It's actually connecting to Venus and the sun. And again, if your Venus is feeling displeased with the unfolding, you may find yourself feeling a little more aggro than happy. So be aware of that in the afternoon. Again, we're also building to that Jupiter-Pluto. Jupiter-Pluto does not reach that exact point until Sunday afternoon, 5:15 p.m. Pacific time, along with the moon and Mars connecting. So again, there's definitely some aggro energies coming up. The moon, however, is also going to be meeting with the North Node. This is a call for you to empower you. This is a call for you to choose you in your transformation empowerment process. How can you show up for you in and through this? Mercury and Neptune will also be connecting on Sunday. So again, a little bit more of that extra sensory. Of course, I'm going to do my write-ups, my weekend write-ups for these, but just know this Jupiter-Pluto trine, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. There's probably going to be a little bit of that as you face the shadow. I've often described Pluto as potential for the lightest light, but first you've got to face the shadows, the darkness, the darker parts of things that are kind of like dimming the light. And so just know that when you're facing some of those challenging energies, it's necessary. Don't get down on yourself. Face it, and then bring yourself back around. So let's look at all the cards. I actually pulled cards for all the days. Again, top of the cards, Master, the Master degree. And we have a king and we have a queen. We have the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Fire energy, being the lighthouse. The abundance card, I always think that this card is such a good balancing card, a card to balance the physical and the spiritual. Check on yourself on those layers as part of your mastery process. Lots of spiritual energy. We have the nothingness card, which is the Hierophant, which is like, again, leaning into like spiritual law, and the guidance card. So remember I was saying, like, tune in, tune in during the lazy cat, listen to the messages that Spirit, God, Universe is sending you in regards to what you need on your wellness path. Moving on to Saturday, love this. I have the Dream card and Success. I have the Tiger. So it's a reminder, look, they're all looking in the same direction, towards the dream, to daydream. And that's part of the work of Neptune at 29 degrees and even part of the work of Gemini, to allow yourself to dream, to allow yourself to visualize, to train your brain on things that are potentially better than what you're feeling and experiencing now. Let that daydream take its time, take its place. Sunday energy with that Jupiter Pluto is really interesting. We've got transformation and silence. So this again is a really great card. The silence card is a card of beautiful, bright future. And it's reminding you, like, look ahead, visualize that. But don't be afraid of the transformation process that makes you face, some of the inner ick, some of that challenging stuff. And again, that aggro really may pop up on Sunday a little bit as we have the Moon and Mars and then Jupiter, Pluto. Like those two energies, I'll remind you in the write-up, but those two energies are like, whoa, look at this light here. How interesting is that? Oh, let's play with light. So distracted easily. Gemini. So those are the energies for the next 3 days. Hey, the odds be in our favor. You can book a reading if you would like to dig into your astro. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. If you don't get through, try again, because sometimes my messages will just put themselves in spam, and it's crazy and frustrating. So, besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and remember who you are, for you are the solution. Namaste.